And on behalf of Policy Dynamics, I am going to present our short paper, Do Good Work and the Money Will Come, in which we discuss the steps that we took to start a system dynamics consulting company in under 2 years. This loop later evolved into our value creation loop. So I'll get started. So first, a bit of background. Policy Dynamics was founded by Ivan Taylor in 2001, but it was inactive for several years. And then Ivan returned in 2012 after retirement to write many books, chapters, and models. And in 2019, he became a System Dynamics Society mentor, which drove him to publish many journal articles with his mentees. We met in 2020 at the ISDC in Bergen. That was online, thanks to COVID, and we began to develop a brand around policy dynamics, creating a logo, and we work on templates for our presentations and business cards, and we publish a website to create a formal image for policy dynamics. After that, we worked on a strategy for the work that we were creating, which led to many opportunities. That is how our business we start doing, and here we are open-minded. We think it's important to understand that what is our comfortable zone to start modeling, but we would like to invite any modeler to expand their boundaries. In our team, Ivan prefers to model security, corporate, and energy systems, and myself, I prefer environment, history, and business. Once you have a working model, the second step would be to design an interface and present it. We found that the word model is confusing for many people, so we began describing our work as simulators, digital twins, interactive learning environments, learning laboratories, and living papers. The key element here is awareness. Once you create something, you have to bring people to it. So when you are starting, it's complicated to reach the right community or audience. But when you find your spot, it comes easier. The great thing now is that Zoom helps us being even on different time zones, like right now. Once you present to different audiences, an opportunity for networking appears. You have to be open-minded, adapt to different situations that occur. For example, when we got in contact with our first customer, nothing was clear. But we showed up, adapted, showed our work, and a couple of months ahead, we signed our first contract. Publish comes in different possibilities. It could be a journal paper, a keynote, a YouTube video, a conference poster, or even a published interface on IC Exchange. Once you publish, the new opportunities may arrive, and they don't have to be money. They could be dressed differently as presentation stages, book chapters, or journal publications. Then we would start all over again, improving a model or creating a whole new one. This loop is a bit more complex than this. Let me show you how. Now, this is the real loop. I don't think that I would have enough time to explain it all, but overall is we create models and then we share them in R2. And as we share them, we create more confidence in the model, and then the audience help us bring new ideas and more future work that we can continue modeling. Then from that audience, we have networking opportunities that can bring connections and create new or find new problems for writing proposals and developing contracts. The thing here is that as you heard in the beginning, I do have a full-time job. So the overall time available for doing most of these things is limited. So we have to find ways to work faster and to well, to get to those to final products easier. So here's 3 examples of our work and how they went through the loop and created new opportunities for us. We have more examples in the short paper that we submitted for this conference and in our websites. So first is the the Arctic social environmental system. Sorry? The first version of this model was developed live at ISDC 2020 in under 3 hours. It is an exploration of the social environmental elements of the Arctic, and it was inspired in the peace engineering workshop held at the conference. This helped us, Ivan and Paco, to connect and to give our first steps. After working a year with this model, it was accepted to be published in Springer in a book for foresight, coming out this month. Later, the concepts in this model were considered to create a spiritual readiness system and also inspired a suicide prevention system. This is the interface that we developed for this with all the levers that you can turn on and off. We also created a dashboard for all the major variables in the system. Next, there's the organizational diversity system. This was the first interface published with our brand of Policy Dynamics. This is the interface for this. And finally, there's the Jakarta Circular Economy model. This was presented at the UN's World Circular Economy Forum, and actually it was funny that this model sat in a folder for 2 years before getting to a stage. This simulator led to a proposal for Circular Economy Asia, who wanted to apply it to textile circular economy in Indonesia. This is the small version of the dashboard. Before I finish this presentation, I would like to share with you some things to have in mind. First, be patient. System dynamics takes time, building a brand takes time, abstracting a model takes time, all the good things in life take time. So be patient. There is always paperwork to be done, and sometimes it will be frustrating. There is time required for the customer to identify or to understand if your vision and their vision fit together. Then you need to build a proposal, and you have to go back and forth several times until you get to a final version. In a way, it's like publishing to a journal. Next is collaborate. If we learned something from the pandemics, is that in our current setting, there is no boundaries. You can be anywhere in the world you want using Zoom, Teams, or another solution. We have incorporated Google Docs, ClickUp, and Zoom as our standard tools, but there are many out there. So you have the whole world to work as your playground. And finally, innovate. I think that we need to break the mold. So when we started this, we were creating models, and today we are finding ways to build useful simulators so that human beings interact with complexity. We live in a very different world now. We reached the end of this presentation, and I would like to say goodbye with this last thought. Good luck comes to those who are prepared. So we have to practice, practice, practice. We have to be willing to be wrong sometimes and be brave, because our world needs solutions from a different level of thought. So build up your mental models, discuss them, change your paradigms, and create a better world. Gracias. Thank you. It's been an honor to be here with you today. Finally,
sorry.
If you like to create a face or interactivity to your model, you can contact us, and we gladly help you find an audience and find a better way to get your work go further. Thank you.
Thank you, Francisco. Very interesting presentation. Do we have any questions from the audience? Not seeing anything in the chat. Any hands raised? John McEwen is asking, could you show the Arctic model again, please? Says
yes,
he just flashed it by.
Yeah, of course. It's around here. There it is. So what we think is... Yeah.
Sorry, John, have you got a specific question you want to ask? Okay, he's got no specific question. He just wanted to see what you've done here.
Yeah. The thing with this system is that the environment is on a downtrend, right? So what we did is we created sensitivity analysis with a lot of runs to see which policies needed to be turned on in order to help the system to behave better or to reach a new equilibrium. The thing with this model is that it can't be solved with only one perspective. It needs natives, it needs the wildlife, it needs commerce and governments to work together in order to make the place or to develop the place in a sustainable way.
Thank you. Corne, you've got your hand up.
Thank you. Thank you, Francisco. This is really, really interesting. I mean, I've played around with the idea of starting something like you have done, and it's just amazing what you have achieved. Thank you for sharing all the great wisdom as well. It wasn't just a presentation of the great work you've done, but also kind of how do you go about affecting the world. My question to you is, with all the interactions and where you guys are now, do you think there is an appetite for more systemic thinking in the world?
Yes, in a way, I think there is. The thing is that, well, I was lost in a way when I found system dynamics 12 years ago, and it was something that I was already expecting. The thing is that most of times we don't know how it's called, or we don't find easy ways to understand it or to get into this. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of field to harvest, and now with the technologies that we have, I think it's easier to do it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, COVID actually enabled this. If I listen to you correctly, COVID enabled you to start this because of the virtual conference in 2020, and that's was a big turning point, which is really interesting to hear.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, can you show that systemic diagram that you showed earlier about the business?
Yes, of course. Let me go here.
Because I would like to comment on that.
Yes, here.
Yes. So my personal experience with this is that the time delays between writing your proposal and getting the contract, and then that process of getting the work done, I call it the dolphin principle, because when you have work, you have too much work to have time to write your new proposals. And then by the time you finish the work, you've got money in the bank, but you don't have any work. And then you've, like a dolphin, have to come up, find a client again, and then that process starts. So it's a very difficult process to get going sustainably, unless you've got some sort of critical mass, or as you say, at least you've got somebody's paying the rent every month, and you only, you can work as much time as you've got available. So, but You know, I'm glad to see that there's other people who've tried this. I did this myself for 14 years, and your picture and my picture are very similar. I just have much bigger time delays penciled in because I know where all the pain sits in this model. So thank you very much for sharing it. I think there's a number of people in the system dynamics society and world who ask themselves this question is, you know, are there opportunities for us? And you've obviously demonstrated that there are, but we might have to make it work. It's not something that's going to just come to your doorstep. You have to work at it. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think we all enjoyed it.